All right, guys, so today we are going to do a closer read of Mom and Me and Mom. We're going to start off first with a video from Maya Angelou. And so I am going to click on this. She has since passed away, but I'm going to This is my pendant. Wait for the ad to go away. She's passed away, but this is kind of her story about how she remembers her mother and how she feels towards her mother. This is a picture of Vivian Baxter, and she kind of talks at the beginning about how her mother is not the type of woman that she really expected her to be, and that she had a very rough upbringing and kind of a tragedy that happened. So I am going to turn on the subtitles and we'll start watching about right here.
The time. My grandmother was patient, kind, spoke slowly. Vivian Baxter spoke fast and she wiggled all the time. And she kept records on and songs and music and she wore lipstick and she danced. And I just couldn't get it. So I refused to call her mother. I called her lady. And she accepted that.
Many people couldn't overcome that initial abandonment. That would have been something impossible to overcome. What allowed you to overcome that and establish a relationship?
She loved me. And she said, I really wasn't ready to be a parent. And I realized there are some people who are great parents of small people. My mother was just the opposite. And then I saw she was very kind to people who maybe needed someone to be kind.
What are some of the universal elements that you have drawn from that relationship, the mother-daughter relationship?
I learned that love heals, not sentimentality, but love.
Okay, so there's the lesson she learns from her mother. Love heals.
And her love healed me.
Your mother grew up in very different times.
Yes.
What would she make of an African American being in the White House?
She, I think, would have thought it should have been her.
Dr. Maya Angelou.
Martin Luther King told me that he expected there to be a black president in 40 years. It was 40 years ago. I didn't. I thought I'd be long dead before that happened. But my mother was that hopeful. I'm myself positive and an optimist, but I wouldn't have gone there. How did I, born black, in a white country, poor, in a society where wealth is adored and sought after at all costs, female, in an environment where only large ships and some engines are described favorably by using the female pronoun? How did I get to be Maya Angelou?
What are some of the lessons to take away from this book?
Exercise.
Okay, so now she's going to talk about the lesson that her mother learned from her. So thinking back to your tree graphic organizer, we kind of struggled with what could the mom or grandma take away. This is exactly what you could put.
Patience with yourself first, so you can forgive yourself for all the dumb things you do.
So patience.
Once you do, you can learn from that so you don't have to repeat them. And then exercise patience with your children. Please. I pray that someone will hear that in this book and learn to be a little kinder.
All right. So then that leads us to our tree graphic organizer. We're going to go ahead and go into that first. So I'm going to kind of try to go back to the main screen here. See if I can do that. Okay, and we're going to put in what we think for the graphic organizer here. So we said, let's start with the older side, right? So in Mom and Me and Mom, the mother's name was, I think it's Vivian. Let me double check. Dun, 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 dun. I'm looking for our who's that we wrote down in our notes. Vivian Baxter, right? So in Mom and Me and Mom, Vivian learns, and in the video, she says, to have patience for her children. So to exercise or to use patience. To exercise patience. I'm running out of room. Towards her children. Okay, it's kind of messy. But in Mom and Me and Mom, Vivian learns to exercise patience towards her children. Then we need a quote. So we're going to get that from the passage here, okay? On the other hand, though, in the video, it says what Maya learned. And in Mom and Me and Mom, Maya learns that love heals, right? She kind of was traumatized when her mother left her, and Grandma kind of raised her, and she calls Grandma Mom. But she realizes over time that love heals. And she also learned from her mom when she smiles, that's kind of showing how she's, her mother always wanted her to smile. So let's go back to that part of the story. That is on page 73. Okay. And on page 73, there's kind of a shadow going on here, but on page 73, remember on paragraph 14, she says, Maya, you disapprove of me because I'm not your grandmother. That's true, I am not. But I am your mother, and I'm working part of my body off to pay for this roof over your head. When you go to school, the teacher will smile at you, and you will smile back. Students you don't even know will smile, and you will smile. But on the other hand, I am your mother. If you can force one smile on your face for strangers, do it for me. I promise you I will appreciate it. And then she goes ahead and smiles, and here's this aha moment. She says, that day, I learned that I could be a giver simply by bringing a smile to another person. The ensuing years have taught me that a kind word or a vote of support can be a charitable gift. So this is her life lesson, and this goes with the fact that love heals, and she can be a giver. So let's go ahead and put that quote, I learned that I could be a giver simply by bringing a smile to another person. A kind word or support can be a charitable gift, right? And that is how she learns that love can heal through a smile. So we're going to go ahead and copy that in. It's going to be a little crammed in here. Maya learns that love heals. For example, she says, I learned, this is from paragraph 18, I learned that I could be a giver simply by bringing a smile to another person. And that would be on page 73. Okay, I learned that I could be a giver simply by bringing a smile to another person. And that focuses on the fact that love heals. Let's go to Mom now. And Mom just needs to discover that, like, Maya is not going to forgive her instantly for all those years that she abandoned her, right? Like, Maya is not just going to take her in as mother and just assume, like, oh, everything's just fine. We'll go right back to how life was when I was 3, right? That's not how it works. So I found a few quotes that I like about this that would show maybe that she's making sure her mom realizes she's not going to just forgive her right away and that mom needs to have patience. So the first quote I found is, Maya, this is on page 73, paragraph 22. Maya, I am your mother. Despite the fact that I left you for years, I am your mother. You know that, don't you? Okay, so this is mom kind of telling her, I am your mother. Here, but on the other hand, I am your mother. If you can force a smile on your face for strangers, do it for me. Okay, so this is her trying to get Maya to, like, love her, like her, forgive her, but Maya's really not feeling that charitable about that. So if we look when she's on page 74, where she's like, I don't feel comfortable calling you mom because you really haven't been there for me all these years. She asked her, what do you want to call me? And Maya says, I'll just call you lady. She goes, well, that's it. I am lady and I'm still your mother. And mom finally realizes, okay, she's not just going to give in and call me mom. So she does have patience and says, at the right time, I will introduce my new name. So I feel like that quote works the best as showing patience. Mom realizes, okay, Maya is not going to be like her brother and just instantly come into her arms and cry and hug her. So if she's learning to exercise patience toward her children, we can use that quote. For example, well, that's it. I am lady and still your mother, period. At the right time, comma, I will introduce my new name, right? So in time, my new name will be mother to you, but for right now, she's accepting that Maya will call her lady because she's trying to realize, okay, I abandoned my daughter. I need to have patience for her to come back to me. And that was on page 74. So I think that fits. The mom needs to learn to exercise patience. If she abandoned her, her daughter's not going to come running back to her arms. Maya's learning that love takes time to heal. All right. So that's it for the composition notebook. What you're going to do now is, as you can see here on the screen, we have some paragraphs that you need to go back to and label. You're not just going to label it with words of the wiser. You're going to actually label it with your thinking. So if I go back to the first one, I'll do the first one for you. Paragraph 11. Oh my goodness, I have all my pages messed up. Paragraph 11, we actually have it already labeled, but now we need to add our thinking. How is this a words of the wiser? And what is our thinking with this? So trust me, but more than that, trust the Lord. He will look after you. Okay. This is grandma giving her advice. So how is grandma, why is grandma giving her advice? I'm going to say grandma is pushing Maya to start a relationship with her mom through trusting the Lord, right? Trusting that the Lord will help her through this tough time. So this is my thinking that I'm thinking in my head that fits with the words of the wiser. You are going to go ahead and label your thinking for all of the other signposts, paragraph 18, 42, 43, 46, 47, 60, 61. So you're not just labeling it with WW or AHA, but you're also going to put your thinking next to it. Why do you think it's a words of the wiser? What makes it an aha moment? Okay, so that's going to take you some time to do and finish today. This will take you till the end of class. So you have the rest of the class time to write your thinking next to those. Go ahead and keep this screen open, and you guys can do it.